It's really difficult to engage people after lunch, and such a delicious lunch. Yeah. Uh, we have to talk about the assessment, and especially the strategies of the alternative assessment. Well, I'll talk in the given time in two blocks. Block number one, let's share what basically we understand assessment is, and in a very simple way, Dr. Veera Gupta explained the difference between the assessment and the evaluation. And what I add to this is that at times the evaluation become more qualitative as compared to the assessment. So if we add a quality to the assessment, it will lead to evaluation. Talking about assessment, let's see what do we understand by the term assessment is. And there are few questions which we need to ask before assessing the students in the class and outside the class also. While going through one of the website, I came across three beautiful questions, and these three questions changed my view about the assessment and what is happening in the class. The first thing is that the first question which was asked in that is, are we teaching what we supposed to teach? Number two is, are students learning what they're supposed to be learning? And number three is, can there be a better way to give the feedback of students' learning? Going through these three questions, the first thing which comes to my mind, and practically all those who are directly involved with the classroom transaction and the students, we always consider assessment and the process of teaching learning in two different pockets. Whenever we talk about the assessment, we always focus on asking questions in any form. And when we talk about teaching and learning, so we are not very clear that what outcome basically we want. Taking the first pocket of teaching and learning, and when we think about the outcome, so that outcome is reflected only in the lesson plan which we are making, a very theoretical lesson plan, that you have the aim, you have the ultimate aim, then you have an objective, you have an ultimate objective, then you have the development of the content, then you have assessment in that, and then the outcome. So basically what happens is that when we start teaching, we don't think about the outcome, and when we start assessing the child, we don't correlate it with the way we have taught. And to my experience, when it comes to the assessment, especially to the examination, teacher become very revengeful to the student. All the intellect of the teacher you can see in the question paper. What is happening in the classroom, that is not reflected in the question paper. So when I want to prove myself as a very good teacher, what should I do? So my focus is that because the question paper is going out in the society, so I'll put all my intellect in the question paper and then put a challenge in front of the students. Now you answer these questions, now I see. So working in two different pockets, not relating the two pockets with each other, leads us nowhere. We talk a lot about assessment. Here we have alternate assessment strategies. But then at many places, I came across alternative assessment and I failed to understand that what could be the alternative to the assessment. Because the tests and all, these are the tools of assessment. So whatever you are doing, if you are looking at the face and making out something about the person, you are in the process of assessment. So how can you have an alternate to that? There is no alternate to the assessment, but yes, there can be different tools, alternate tools for assessing the students. So basically if we see, so the assessment is a process, examination is a tool, and outcome is an objective. The first thing is that after teaching, what my student is going to learn. This is usually what we put in the lesson plan. And then how to get a feedback that how much the student has learned. That is the objective. So after teaching the process of photosynthesis or after teaching quadratic equations in class 10, what the student is going to learn. Now here the major problem according to me starts. Because when we design the assessment, basically it is more of, I'm sorry to use the word, my sincere apologies, but it's somewhat, it's an oral diarrhea. Where you want everything to be written in the copy and then you judge that whether the student is good or not. So it is more or less, it's the quantitative part which you are looking for. Whereas the basic objective of the teaching in the class is how the child is able to apply the knowledge gained in the classroom. I mean, this is for what we are teaching. And if I am simply teaching, that the area of a square is A by A, fine. I mean, there is nothing good. And I give some quantity to A by A, it's 2 by 2. So it comes that, okay, fine, it's the 4 square millimeter, 4 square centimeter, whatever the unit is. Whether the purpose is solved? Yes. How? The child learned the formula A by A. But then making the formula or making the child learn the formula is not the objective. The objective is when there is no value given to A by A, will child be able to find out the area? Can we find out the area or the parameter of this hall? Now this is where the application of the knowledge comes in. If there are 10 tiles and one tile is of 12 inches, fine. I mean, you can find out the area of the square. You need not have to measure the length and the breadth. So this is, this should be focused. When we talk about the strategies, somebody was saying in the morning, I think, when biology teacher said that, fine, you fell down on the ground and you teach 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is the head, this is the back, this is the leg. So the basic thing what we should keep in mind while designing the strategies for assessment is that what basically you want your child, in what way you want your child to apply the knowledge. If that is not clear, fine, the teaching and learning and the assessment is under the question mark. And this is what is, we call it as the qualitative and the quantitative assessment. There are few types of assessment, 2 categories we'll talk about. Now let's see the tools. We talk a lot about assessment. There are many reforms introduced by various boards in the country on assessment. CBSE being national board introduced CCE. Then Madhya Pradesh government is also now taking up the CCE project to implement it. And then like this, all these state boards, they have adopted these pattern. Now review this. especially the system of the CCE. So the idea given by all the boards on CCE was that there should be an assessment which is very comprehensive, which is on a regular basis, and it should be qualitative. So the evaluation comes into the picture. And how this was defined by schools? It has to be regular. So how to maintain the regularity? So let's fix up the day. Monday. Okay, fine. So let's make it Monday test. So the regularity is maintained. So every Monday we are taking a test and the regularity. Then make it comprehensive. So when we are doing formative assessment, let's give 15 to 20 tasks. And then out of that, those 15 to 20 tasks, we'll choose the best 2. And then so it has become the comprehensive. But then the evaluation is not at all considered as evaluation. The evaluation, that E, is defined as examination. So instead of becoming a continuous and the comprehensive evaluation, it has become a continuous and the comprehensive examination. Who is going to, when you go out and when you have to purchase some ready-made for you, some clothes for you, what we do? We take a trial, whether it fits us or not. And when you ask the salesman over there, he'll suggest that you better go for the trial, because different companies, they have got different size scales. So maybe, 32 of X company and 34 of X company will fit you. 32 of X company will not fit you. 32 of Y company may fit you. And everybody is kicking that person. And that is the student. So we talk about student-centered teaching, we talk about student-centered learning, we talk about the student-centered evaluation system. But that centeredness is not decided by the student. It is decided by the teacher. So as a teacher, I fix up that you have to be here. This is the best way I know that you will be able to learn. Yeah, fine, true. You may have out of your own experience that how the process of learning takes place. But then, it's not that one size fits for all. It's not there in the system. So let's see that how can we design the tool. We take examination as a tool. What happens in the examination? You may disagree to my statement. I'm a strong critic of the examination system. I don't have any alternative, so don't ask me question on that. Right? I make it very clear. The thing is that actual teaching periods we get in a year is around 150. 150 to 160. Actual where teaching is happening in the classroom. We have around 215, 220 working days. Then some days goes for examination, some days unseen holidays, 10 days teacher is on the leave throughout the session. So actual 150. And if we take one class equals to 40 minutes. So you have got around 15 into 4, 6,000 minutes to teach in a year. Now let's see the examination system. 3 major examinations, say quarterly, half yearly, and now it's 2, the summative examination if we talk about. The duration of the examination, maximum 3 hours. So it's 6 hours. 6 hours, that means 3,600 minutes. You take 6,000 minutes to teach the child in the classroom, and you expect to return it back in 50% of that time. Where is the justification? Why? Because the tools which the schools, teachers are adopting, it's more on the comfort of the teacher, not on the comfort of the student. And another thing which surprises me in the examination pattern, examination system is that when we talk about examination, we are mainly focused what is written in the 4-line answer. You know that the child is very good, but that goodness is never considered. Because you have to give marks to what is written in the answer sheet, not what is there in the brain of the child. So let's think it over. I don't know what could be the alternative to this. There could be n number of ways where we can go for, as far as the individual teacher or the individual school is concerned. But as a system, that where you say that the assessment which you are following is the student-friendly assessment. It is nowhere the student-friendly assessment. Formative assessment. Nowadays, all these terms when comes out, they becomes the buzzword. We have been doing formative assessment for ages, years. It's not something which has come up now. Because, it has become an official word, so we have started using and understanding, the CCE. We have been doing since years. The only thing is that it was the shape and the size was different. Now the packing is different. So when you talk about the formative assessment, learning, conducting activity in the class, how we conduct the activity in the class, we decide. How many times, when we go to the children that, this is what is the activity designed for, let's discuss what we can do. I know, n number of questions will be raised, n number of excuses will be made. Time is not there. Principal doesn't allow. Principal says that system doesn't allow. Then there are 35 students in the class. How can we have 35? Lot many things comes up. Not because, these are the practical problems, but it is because that we are not ready to accept the alternatives. We are ready to talk on the alternatives, but then we are not ready to generate and accept the generated alternatives. So the first thing when we talk about the alternative strategies, let's start accepting what alternatives are. And then think that how this can be administered in the classes. There are n number of things. The school where I come from, we do not conduct examinations till class 5. There's no examination system. But then all the parents, there are around 1400, 1500 parents, they all are very happy. Nobody asks for the examination. Why? Because the feedback which is given to the parent, that feedback is, actually what the child is doing in the school and at the home matches with that. So, how we did it and all these things, it will be a different thing. But then, what I would like to say here is that let's take assessment in different categories. Whether you want the assessment in terms of the marks, whether you want assessment in terms of the grades, or whether you want in terms of the skills attained by the student while classroom transactions. We were having marks, so there was a lot of stress that, it's 94 and 94.2 makes a lot of difference. So we shifted to grades. But, what happens? If a child, if I say that there is a grade card, where in English the child has got B, he has got B plus in Hindi, he got A in mathematics, he got C in science, and he got again B in social science. If this is the grade card, how we are going to define the child? No. So that those the grades which are given, that grade card is also not the reflection of the mental personality of the child. But it's a system we have to follow. But then, can there be an alternative? Yes, definitely. What? Shifting from this to the skills, attainment of skills. And every subject has got some basic concept and some basic skills. Let's see very quickly that what is the basic concept of teaching language. or languages, we have got 2-3 language formula. It is to develop the expression. Mathematics, to develop the logic. Social science, coordination with the society and the nature, human relations. Science, observation and analysis. These are the very basic concept with the child. What you have studied when you were in class 8 in English, you don't know. But then you have learned how to express yourself. So whether I learn Shakespeare or whether I learn anything in English language or Tulsidas ji in Hindi or Acharya Ramjagatra Shukla in Hindi, doesn't make any difference unless and until I know how to communicate my feelings in a proper way. So the teaching which was there in the class, I mean, I have wasted the time there. Why? Because I am not able to speak. There are teachers, come across, MA in English literature and they know everything other than English. It happens. We come across so many things. So what is the use of teaching language? You cannot express. Nothing is illogical. That's why the application of mathematics is there. I simply asked one of the engineers that, can you tell me that how, the coordinate geometry helps in flying the plane? Okay, fine. It is the loci. So these are the things, which we should keep in mind when we are developing the strategies for the alternatives to the assessment. And let's focus on the skills, not focus on the grades or the numbers. And the same should be reported. Maybe the listening, reading, writing, speaking skills in English language, the application of logic, what we said in the other subjects. So if we really wish learning to happen in the classroom and learning to be reflected by the child, by the students, then we need to shift to the skill. I mean, there are two ways. One is the norm reference assessment. One is the criterion referenced assessment. These are two different. But however, I extend my sincere thanks for the organizers giving me an opportunity to talk to such learned people here. Thank you very much.